Algorand 101, brought to you by MetricsDAO. We're going to start in 1 minute. Okay, GM everyone, let us know in the chat where you're connecting from. Love to hear from everyone. So today we are going to talk about Algorand. We're going to talk about what this blockchain is, how does it operate, some of the key technologies that Algorand has invented, as well as what's waiting for Algorand in the future. I am Vaida, Education Lead at MetricsDAO, and this webinar is brought to you by MetricsDAO. So before we start talking about Algorand, I'm just going to take a couple of moments to present you the exciting opportunities that we have available for you with MetricsDAO that you might be interested in delving deeper into after this webinar. So at MetricsDAO, we are a community of Web3 data analysts, and we are focused on providing Web3 organizations with on-demand data insights and tooling. We have an amazing community of hundreds of people that are completing our analytic challenges as well as going through our various educational programs. So, talking about the programs that we have available at the moment, you can find our Web3 Analytics 101 live and asynchronous courses. And if you want to register to those courses, we will have the information available on our website. So we actually start our next live cohort end of February, and you can join the asynchronous program anytime. So if you want to become a Web3 data analyst, if you're interested in this topic, these courses are free and it's a great way to start. Also, we have a bunch of different ecosystem courses. So at the moment, we are going to have this webinar about Algorand, but if you want to dive deeper into Algorand and if you want to get free access to all these resources, we actually have a course available for you, which is completely free of cost. You can go and check out after this webinar. As well, we will be having a bunch of different webinars and courses coming up over the coming weeks. On Wednesday, we have a webinar on Cosmos. So if you are interested in gaining the foundational skills of and actually understand Cosmos, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. And other than that, we're also launching a bunch of free programs for you if you want to learn about Cosmos ecosystem, Near ecosystem, Ethereum ecosystem, DAOs, and more. So we are launching now courses every 2 weeks. So there's going to be a bunch of opportunities available. And the best way to keep updated is by joining our Discord server. So we actually have even a channel for you there on the Discord server that is specifically for Algorand, where we will be able to keep in touch after this webinar. And I will tell you a little bit more about how you can join the server later. But another thing that we also have for you for attending this webinar as a thank you note is a MetricsDAO token. So we actually gave 10 metrics, X metrics for everyone who fills in the attendance form that we're going to be sharing with you in the chat right now. So do ensure to fill in this form because this way you will not only get our tokens, which are going to open different kinds of opportunities for you within the community. But you also will get access to different channels in our Discord server that are only accessible to people that attend our webinars. So do ensure to fill in the attendance forms so that we can send you all the different accesses that we have, and you can enjoy these privileges for attending the webinar. So another key part of what we do at MetricsDAO is analytics challenges. So any one of you can actually take part of those challenges. If you have already some free data analytics skills, you can just participate in them by sourcing questions, answering them, and reviewing others. So we're really focused on knowledge sharing and mentorship. And if you actually are interested in becoming a free data analyst, this is a great community for you. And even if you are not, like we're a data analyst, we still have a bunch of opportunities and courses, etc., for those who are coming from different skill sets like marketing, content writing, etc. And to actually have a bunch of success stories of people that came that actually participated in our courses and then landed a job, whether inside of MetricsDAO or even maybe a full-time job in a different organization. So we have so many stories of people which we are very, really proud to share. But now I'd love to hear as well about you. So, well, what's your background? Are you a marketeer? Are you an analyst? Are you a developer? Love to understand who's today here in the audience. So just write in the chat so that we can know, and we can all see who is here. Would be very, very curious to hear that. Right, and as you're sharing, I'll start talking about our today's topic, which is Algorand. So before we even delve into Algorand, I'd just like to take a moment to introduce this graph to you, which is blockchain trilemma. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not, but essentially the key about the blockchain trilemma is that we cannot have all the free features that for the blockchains, that for them to be decentralized, scalable, and secure. We can only have 2 of the free or 1 of the free, but not all of the free. So we actually have a bunch of different blockchains out there that are not Algorand and maybe are decentralized but not secure, that maybe are decentralized but not scalable. So what Algorand actually what Algorand did here, and why I actually even mentioned this blockchain trilemma to you, is because Algorand now said, okay, like we actually can make this work. We can solve this blockchain trilemma, and we can actually ensure that blockchains can have all the free features, that they can be scalable, decentralized, and secure. So that's a really key point to understand about Algorand, because that's one of the big inventions that they actually have brought to the blockchain space back in 2019 when it was founded. So talking about the founder of Algorand, so this guy is called Silvio Micali. And he's a co-inventor of zero-knowledge proofs, a world-renowned leader in the field of cryptography and information security. So when he founded Algorand, he had his vision to democratize finance and deliver on the blockchain promise. So some of the key features, some of the key technological inventions that Algorand has brought to the blockchain space are highly customizable smart contracts, asset tokenization, and atomic transfers, and actually they are all built directly into the layer 1 of the blockchain. So we're actually going to be looking deeper into all of these aspects of Algorand and all of these key technologies that are brought into the space later today in the webinar. Also, one of the big things about Algorand is that it is very, very scalable. So with the first blockchains that actually just came into the space, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, they've been facing a lot of scalability issues, and then actually a lot of the blockchains that came after, they were looking into, okay, how can we actually solve the scalability issue? How can we ensure that transactions can be fast, cheap, and also environmentally friendly. So Algorand had a very, very amazing idea on how to do that by inventing pure proof of stake consensus mechanism that we're actually going to be looking into in a moment. But overall, like what Algorand really is an immutable decentralized ledger technology. It's a layer one proof of stake blockchain. And I'm actually going to dive into this a little bit right now to understand really like what does it mean, to be an immutable decentralized ledger. So we have actually 5 different archetypes in this ledger, and the kind of the first thing that we have is blocks. So once a transaction is run, there's a new block that's being generated. And since Algorand is very fast and very scalable, we actually have a new block generated in under 5 seconds, generally about 2.5 seconds. And when these transactions occur, they actually are between 2 accounts, and generally these accounts will be sender and receiver. And in as well, in these accounts, there would be some several assets used. So this generally would be fungible and non-fungible tokens. And as well, smart contracts or dApps would be utilized for this transfer to happen. Right. So we actually touched upon very briefly about Algorand's consensus mechanism, and we said it's pure proof of stake, and we're going to be delving deeper into it in a moment. But now maybe let's look into what even is pure proof of stake and how it does differ from proof of work. So proof of work is actually utilized by Bitcoin, and proof of stake is utilized by most of the other blockchains. So what happens in a proof of stake algorithm is that the decision about which transactions to include in the next block is made by validators. And these validators are selected based on the number of tokens, or in other words, stake that they hold. And this is in contrast to the proof of work algorithm, where the decision is actually made by the miners. And these miners compete to solve a cryptographic puzzle in order to create a new block. So essentially, proof of stake blockchain gives users held more stake, or in other words, who hold more of that underlying blockchain currency in the system, more influence in proposing and validating new blocks. And there's usually some form of a automatic consensus mechanism, voting mechanism involved there as well. Okay, but what does that mean right now? We said that Algorand actually has not just proof of stake, but pure proof of stake. So we're actually going to be looking now into the different features of the pure proof of stake, and what does it really bring to the market, and how is this algorithm a lot of the times designed to be more efficient, secure, and fair than other proof of stake algorithms we have in the market. So the interesting thing here is that it uses a randomized selection process to choose validators for each block, and also it has a threshold signature scheme that ensures that the validators can only create a valid block if they have reached a consensus. So this allows the blockchain to achieve high transaction fee output and low fees, while also maintaining security and decentralization. But now we're going to look into the different little parts that we have here in the graph. So first, Algorand is very scalable, as we discussed. So that means that we actually can have about 1,000 recurrent transactions per second, and each block, each transaction can be executed in under 5 seconds, generally 2.5 seconds. Then another thing about Algorand is that its infrastructure has low longevity, and that's largely because everything on Algorand is open source. Then we also have technical flexibility, since there's a lot of different SDK options available for developers. Also, one thing about Algorand, which is quite interesting, is that there's no forking. which ensures transaction certainty. Also, we have platform extensibility, and that's because Algorand has a loads of great tools for development capabilities. Algorand also has a really great energy efficiency and consumes incredible low amounts of energy to execute any transaction. Also, it's incredibly cheap to execute a transaction, costing way less than a fraction of a penny for each transaction to be executed. And it's also really secure and resilient to its secure quantum infrastructure against different sorts of hacks and attacks. Right. So since proof of stake or proof of stake, it's a consensus mechanism. So we're just going to look now a little bit how this consensus actually is operating. So first, like since it's a blockchain, all the transactions are seen on a network. And if you want to actually agree on a transaction, then the nodes in the network will have to digitally sign the block of transactions, which is generally will be a subset of around 1,000, and then a block is added onto the chain. So Algorand's proof of stake consensus mechanism chooses validators and block proposals randomly from anyone who has staked and generated a participation key. So staked Algorand in this case. And the chance of being chosen is directly related to the proportion of the participant's stake of the overall amount staked. So the more you have staked, the greater chance you have to be chosen to validate a block. Right, so a small holder we have lower chances than a big holder, but unlike other proof of stake blockchains, Algorand does not require a minimum stake, which can be a significant barrier for entry for the average user, since a lot of the times these minimum stakes can be thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And with every staker who runs a node being a possible validator, since there's no minimum stake, the network security is more decentralized than with a chosen set of validators, such as in other types of proof of stake, like delegated proof of stake. Right. So if any of you actually want to see any of the transactions that are happening, if you want to see if the transaction has occurred, and in general, what's the current situation of the blocks, the counts, what's the block speed happening at a moment, you can actually go to Algorand Explorer website and check this information for yourself. So this all is publicly available on the blockchain. So if you're interested, you can check it on Algorand Explorer. Right. Now we're going to go into the different use cases of the Algorand blockchain just to understand how Algorand has been adopted in various use cases. So first, one of the big things about Algorand is that it actually has been adopted by various governments. Actually, governments trusted Algorand as their first minimum blockchain, and they have adapted for their use cases. So one of those governments is actually China. So what they did with Algorand blockchain, it used its technology to improve transparency of social services, as well as track donations and audit trail. Also, actually, one state in India utilized Algorand blockchain for healthcare purposes to actually be able to track and assess medical records. Because it's very important for for the medical records to actually be transparent, for them to be tamper-proof, where you cannot change that, because that's a very important information when actually when doctors are making decisions, based on the patient's history. Also, there has been some use cases with Algorand blockchain for ensuring the supply chain visibility. So here you can you use this blockchain, for example, see the wear and tear of different spare parts, etc. So another organization that has implemented Algorand as its key blockchain is called FIFA. So you probably have heard of FIFA as the key organization behind all things football. So actually, Algorand has been chosen as the key blockchain for FIFA, and FIFA's president, Gianni, signed an agreement with Algorand's founder, Silvio, to launch a FIFA Plus Collect marketplace. And the idea of this marketplace was to bring memorable football scenes to the NFT world. Talking about governments utilizing Algorand, we've seen that El Salvador has actually leveraged Algorand infrastructure as its official government infrastructure. So that's like it's being used to store securely El Salvador's government records. Other than governments utilizing Algorand, we've also seen a bunch of different cases in the decentralized finance world. So we actually had a bunch of different decentralized exchanges that have been created on Algorand and are really innovating in the market. So we've had things like AlgoFi, which is a centralized lending protocol, and as well as stablecoin. Also, we had different trading protocols, etc. So these are some of the key ones that are mentioned here, but there is way more that Algorand has created. Also, we see a lot of different stable coins that actually have utilized Algorand, and not just any stable coins, but the leading stable coins like Tether USD, which is really like the market leading stable coin, which was started incredibly recently. Incredibly long time ago. And then also USDC, which is actually fully US reserve based stablecoin. So this as well is a really big use case for Algorand is how can we actually utilize stablecoins and centralized finance applications. And there's a bunch of different use cases that actually we're going to be looking into in a bit. But if any of you are developers, you can actually get involved and build your own applications on Algorand. You just need to know one of the two programming languages, Python and Reach, Reach is very similar to JavaScript, and there's 40 SDKs that you can utilize for that purpose to actually build on-chain assets and applications. And Algorand actually has a bunch of really amazing documentation for developers to utilize. So, and also it's really focusing on how can we actually grow this developer ecosystem and provide more and more tools for developers to be able to thrive on the Algorand ecosystem. So another key part of the Algorand blockchain is the ASA framework. So it's really something that is not seen in other blockchains, and it's something that it's an innovation that Algorand has brought into the blockchain space. So it's a mechanism that is built directly into the layer 1, and it's used to represent any type of asset on the Algorand blockchain. And you can do a bunch of different things with this digital asset framework, and it's actually like a digital representation, and it can be even a digital representation of a real world asset such as currency, commodity, or security. And you can actually create assets using this framework yourself. You can transfer assets between different accounts, you can manage the supply of those assets, you can create different kinds of contracts for these assets to be executed or transferred, etc. And also you can automate the management of SAs. And looking into the different asset types that can be created using the ASA framework, we have so many different examples from in-game items to securities to ownership registries or even loyalty points. There are so many different use cases, so many different variabilities and options that can be utilized using this asset framework. And if you want to utilize it, if you actually want to create an asset yourself, the way to do that would be to go to Algorand website. There you can actually just click create asset, and then you can create like a bunch of different assets, and then these assets will then be visible in the dashboard directly on the website. Right. Another key and important innovation that Algorand has brought into the blockchain space is the atomic transfer framework. Atomic transfer framework essentially allows complex multi-step transactions to be developed in a much easier way than it would be using other blockchains. So you can actually build a bunch of different complex flows, which would require multiple steps for multiple people involved for the transaction to be executed. So, for example, this can be used when multiple people need to pay each other for the trade to happen, maybe when multiple people need to chip in for the asset to be released and executed. Also, atomic transfer framework can be used to distribute payments to multiple people, where you can just do one click and then all the payments will go to let's say 10 or 20 people that have been predefined. And yeah, a lot of other things. It's really it's very customizable, and you can actually just it's really up to your imagination how you want to be utilizing this atomic transfer framework. But it's a very important innovation that Algorand has brought into the blockchain space. So looking a bit deeper into the Algorand ecosystem, so we actually have seen, of course, that it does have a lot of decentralized finance applications such as stablecoins, lending protocols, also different payments solutions. But in addition to the decentralized finance space, Algorand has built even some solutions to be creating and distributing art and music, NFTs. So it does have quite some presence in the NFT space, as well as the gaming and metaverse space. So we do have some games that have been utilized, that have utilized Algorand blockchain to build. And we even have some DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations, that have utilized Algorand to create their different coordination mechanisms. And we actually had a webinar on DAOs last week, if you're interested in checking it out on our YouTube channel. Other than the applications that are built on Algorand, Algorand has always been partnered with different organizations out there in the market, which is anything from university partners that have been providing Algorand education to different financial infrastructure solutions and decentralized exchanges and different different organizations. So there's a lot of things that we have seen, and a lot of different use cases. We already touched upon as well government and FIFA utilizing Algorand as their official blockchain solutions. So there is a bunch of different organizations that are currently utilizing Algorand for these purposes. Right. But when it comes to the future of Algorand and what's waiting for us, so first and foremost, Algorand has this pure proof of stake consensus mechanism that has been created, as well as other key technologies. However, it's really still not fully developed. There's still a lot of things that will be improved. And since these are some of the key technologies of Algorand blockchain, it will continue focusing on these technologies, looking how we can actually make the developer experience better. How can we make the user experience better? And how can we actually support the developer community to be building on Algorand. So even though we already have hundreds of applications that are built on Algorand, Algorand is still only 3 years old. So there's still so much that will be done. We're still at the very beginning of Algorand blockchain. And we are really early in the whole blockchain space, but especially with Algorand, it's just the beginning. So if you are a developer, if you're interested in building on Algorand, there's a lot of opportunities. There's still a lot of use cases that have not been explored, and there's still a lot of ways on how can this blockchain can be improved and how this infrastructure can support more and more use cases. Okay. So this was kind of the overview of Algorand blockchain. And I hope that you did learn some new things and that it has been helpful for you to understand how this blockchain is operating. And if any of you are interested or curious in learning more about the Algorand blockchain, we have created a course that you can join today. So to do that, you can head to blog.metricsdao.xyz/all courses to find the Algorand course, and as well to register to all the other courses that we're going to be launching over the next weeks. These courses are completely free of charge. Also, if you are interested in joining our Web3 analytics programs, do go as well to our website to register. We currently have 2 Web3 Analytics 101 programs, but if you actually have already gone through this program, we will be soon launching even a 201 program. So there will be opportunities for more advanced Web3 data analysts to learn with us. And if you are interested in participating in our analytics challenges, you do already have the skill set to analyze data in Web3, then do check out these challenges. It's a great way to participate and even earn some money. And we would love to help all of you joining our community, no matter what your skill set is. And the best way to do that would be to join our Discord server. And if you do want to get access to the Algorand chat, you do need to fill in the attendance form that we're going to be sharing with you in the chat. So this attendance form, you'll have a link to your wallet. So like just type in your wallet there so that we can send the badge for you that will give you access to the Algorand chat and other chats that we have available at MetricsDAO. And it's just the best way to just ensure that you're up to date with everything that's happening in our community. So I don't know how many of you have been working with different wallets before, but we actually, if you have not, we do have a video on our YouTube channel in creating a wallet so that, we just ensure that, all of you know how to do that, because you will need to post your wallet address into the form. But just when you do post the address, ensure that it is a Polygon network address. And if you don't have a wallet, then you can just download MetaMask. It's a browser extension, and then you will see at the top like the different networks. So just ensure to choose Polygon mainnet and then copy the account address that you will see at the top. So just click that copy button, and then it's going to copy your wallet address. And then in a couple of days, we're going to send you the badge. So this process is actually not automatic. So don't be surprised if you don't get access immediately, if you don't get the badge immediately. It will take a couple of days for it to arrive. And then once that's done, just join our Discord server. And there you will see at the very top, like this button, this channel called Start Your Journey. So there you will have to connect your wallet to the bot that we use called Guild. And once you connect your wallet to this bot, then the bot will see that you have the badge, and then it will open up the access for you to join the Algorand chat. So that essentially is how it's going to work. So I hope to see all of you in the Discord server, and there is as well as going to be a great opportunity for you to ask any questions that you may have about Algorand. We actually have a few Algorand experts that actually are in the channel too, that are very much ready to answer any questions that you may have. So essentially, if you are interested, asking questions to them, or if something pops up to you in the future, this is going to be a great place for you to ask these questions. Yeah. So we would really, really encourage you to do that and not to keep them to yourself. Right. So do we have any burning questions or something that you would like to ask? And as well, I just wanted to say that if you're not a developer, we actually will have some interesting copywriting opportunities available at MetricsDAO. So keep in the loop about that by joining our Discord server if you're a copywriter. So yeah, this is just one opportunity. We're gonna have a bunch more coming up. And I also see a question about how Algorand marks or ranks when it comes to the number of developers. Well, we do have overall the most amount of development activity happening in Ethereum. So that's just, there's no blockchain that kind of comes close to what's happening on the Ethereum network. So I cannot tell you now the exact kind of ranking, but it is, I would say, in the top 10. It's not in the top 5, but I would say in the top 10. But it is very, very fastly growing ecosystem. Again, it's still really new. So I would expect that these rankings are likely to increase in the future. Okay, so then thank you everyone for attending the session today. We really had a pleasure just sharing this with you as MetricsDAO, and we are going to be hosting a bunch of different webinars in the upcoming weeks. We actually have another one on Wednesday on Cosmos. So if you're interested in learning about the ecosystem of Cosmos, this is going to be a great way for you to get involved and to learn about Cosmos. So do register if you're interested. Do register to our courses. Do ensure to fill in the attendance form if you have not already. Thank you everyone for attending. It was really great having you here, and have a lovely day ahead. Bye bye.